himself with other abusive men. Years ago, the streamer Vosh was exposed by Destiny for sexually harassing a woman named Poppy.
Yeah, so the problem was that we've gotten these complaints for like, I think about a year, where like you've been like really sexually aggressive from a variety of people.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, the worst thing is that you engage in a repeatable pattern of behavior where you try to be very sexually aggressive towards a lot of the women in chat in order to make them uncomfortable enough to send you pictures, and then if they don't, you either act very aggressive towards them, like by telling them that you can't continue conversations anymore, or you continue to sexually harass them until they either give in or block you or go crazy or whatever.
It hasn't, I mean, none of this has happened. That's an extrapolation that you can make based on Poppy.
But even after Destiny found out that Vosh had sexually harassed her, he still decided to be friends with him and platform him and help him start his career. And now, years later, because of Destiny's actions, all of us have had to endure learning about Vosh's horse fetish and his short stack goblin porn. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't look into it.
It's interesting because like Ethan made long, comprehensive, and voluminous content out of this particular subject matter, which, you know, it hits the field of drama and gross pervertry, make no mistake. And yet, I think he's offered what, a approximate total of 5 to 10 minutes on sex pestiny, while simultaneously spending 6+ months talking about how much of a terrorism lover I am, including playing games made by sex pestiny's community that, you know, compare me to Osama bin Laden and numerous other Muslim and Arab content creators, to other terrorists, and then did an entire nuke rehashing all of those same talking points that was 2 hours long. Also tried to get me deplatformed actively, and went after the platform itself, demanding an apocalypse take place, which was, again, sex pestiny's community that was directing those attacks, which was uncovered by Bloomberg, written extensively on. He even said I was doing victory laps when talking about sex pestiny. I mean, he was closer to this. He was friends with you at one point. Yeah. It's just, if you don't have any mechanism of comprehension that, like, in the field, in the scheme of things, like, what is a worse circumstance? I would say political disagreements over political commentators' approach to Israel-Palestine would probably be lower than both accidentally exposing yourself for being a consumer of AI-made child, or doing literal fucking out and about sex crimes, which is in an entirely separate category of its own. If you think that, like, the disagreements with former podcast co-host that you take so personally that you just kind of cast aside your entire career and alienate half of your fucking fan base over with the hopes that you can pick up, like, Keemstar Orbiter fans once again, I would say that that is lower on the totem pole, very low priority. But what do I know?
An example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Later on, after Destiny's relationship with Vosh fell apart, Destiny decided to become friends with a racist named Mr. Girl. And Mr. Girl is not allegedly a racist, he is a racist. He posted a video openly admitting to raping a woman.
A couple years ago, I matched with a woman on Tinder. I say woman because she was 46. Anyway, we got frozen yogurt. She came over. We got naked. I got naked. Then we both got naked. We started making out. Sex kind of makes me anxious, so I don't like a ton of foreplay. To me, it should...
What is going on? There is quite literally an endless well of depravity. Ethan fucked up, yo. Why'd you ban that guy? He wasn't saying Ethan fucked me up. He just said Ethan fucked up, yo. Well, to be fair, he presents that as anti-Semitism, which would make it more valid, even if it really isn't about anti-Semitism. Yeah, it's not anti-Semitism to disagree with your former podcast co-host. Oh, he did say you? Oh, my bad. Anyway, keep talking about Ethan. Sounds like you're actually worried. Yes, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm cowering. Can't you tell? What happened? I thought that this was going to be a massive indictment, that everyone was going to be like, wow, I had no idea that Hassan is not exactly fond of liberals, because sometimes liberals spend most of the conversation surrounding genocide about their own fucking personal feelings. You know, probably the most damning indication, the most damning thing that you can say or do in terms of liberalism. He thought it would get you banned. Yeah, I mean, he's been actively trying to get me banned for months now. What happened to all those fucking bottom feeders who used to hate Ethan Klein, but now that Ethan Klein is against me, they all love Ethan Klein? Those guys used to at least have like one consistent principle, which is, you know, don't go after people's sponsors. I don't have any fucking sponsors, so they try to literally take down the entire platform. Cool stuff, man. Ruining the fucking financial security of thousands of content creators so carelessly. You know, none of these guys have any sort of real fucking values or principles. You know, yeah. The real threat to America is not Donald Trump and you know, fascism. It's a Twitch streamer who disagrees with me in communism. Watching the nuke is very clear that it was intended to be a collab with Destiny and Dan on pushing the Twitch advertiser effort. After the Sex Destiny release, it was very clear he had to edit it down, and it makes no sense. It's really sad. Really sad for Ethan that happened, you know? Kind of cooked his whole thing, which is probably the reason why he had to push it back over and over again. Yeah. Play-Doh 1507, thank you for the 50 big ones. All right, let's get back to this video, which is
be like
insane.
tearing off a Band-Aid, right? I'm trying to be patient. Finally, I put my dick in place, like right at her vagina, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. She holds perfectly still and says, I'm not ready. Clear as day. No mistaking her meaning. She doesn't consent. But she has this look in her eye, like she's daring me to just push it in. Like I'm some kind of pussy if I don't. I could have been imagining that, but I grabbed her shoulders and pushed her down onto my dick. I just fucked her. Did she like that I did that? I think so. She probably had mixed feelings about it. Was it rape? Yes, I guess. I don't know. She told me not to, and I did it anyway. That makes it rape.
I don't know what went through Mr. Girl's head that he thought it was a good idea to openly admit to raping someone.
Dude, I think we gotta, all right, I'm done. I think we just gotta shut it down. We gotta shut down the entire operation. No more podcasts, no more YouTube, none of this shit, okay? None of this fucking shit, none of it. We're done. Shut it off. Hit the fucking reset button on the internet, okay? I'm not just talking about YouTube. I'm not just talking about Twitch or Twitter. I'm talking the internet, okay? We do not know how to deal with the internet, okay? We need to shut it off. We need to never talk about it again. We need to do the Butlerian jihad, but on the internet alone, okay? Nah, too far, man.
On the internet, but that's Mr. Girl for you. Mr. Girl is most well known for his review of the movie Cuties, where he said that he found the 10-year-old girls in that movie hot.
And it juxtaposes these amazing scenes where it's like you'll see the girls playing on a bed where they're stuffing gummy bears in their mouths and they're just totally children. And then you'll see them shaking their booties on this stairway as they make this viral video. And they're pretty hot.
10 years old is 5 years too young for Destiny's taste, but he decided to become friends with Mr. Girl anyway. Mr. Girl also released a bunch of videos where he was like emotionally abusing his girlfriend on camera. After they had been friends for a while, Destiny and Mr. Girl got in.
What is going on, dude? What the fuck is happening? Why do these people exist? Why do they do these things? How do you find that out about a person who voluntarily reveals this information and you go, oh, that's the guy I want to be fucking homies with? Replace the entirety of the internet with Chinese educational content? Dude, I want the Great Chinese Firewall. Wow, that is gross as fuck, dude.
And some drama because Destiny had banned Mr. Girl from Destiny's subreddit because Mr. Girl was criticizing Destiny for the way that he had defended Nick Fuentes. And then
Wait, what the fuck? Okay, one consistent thing I will say about the Sex Destiny cult, okay? One consistent thing I will say about it is that this man will align himself with literally every different cretin on the internet, okay? Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, white nationalists, pedophiles, sometimes pedophile neo-Nazis like Sam Hyde. Why not both? And usually the only way that he breaks off from them is if he feels like they have wronged him individually. It is never about their worldview, their actions, no matter how harmful they might be. Especially if he wants to fuck them, he will literally permanently defend those people. It is kind of shocking how many of these sorts of people Sex Pestany has collaborated with, and he inevitably ends up quote unquote burning those bridges, right, as his fan base likes to call it. But it seems as though it is never due to, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe there are instances where he's like had ideological differences or whatever, but it's almost always about like a personal slight. Okay, oh, you embarrassed me. Oh, you disagree with me on something vehemently. And that is the only way he breaks off from these people. And there are instances, as this chatter is also pointing out to, like when he said he would have even defended Vosh for the lolly shit if he had not pissed him off. Okay, like that's it. Like he openly, after the Vosh lolly stuff came out, he straight up was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about any of this. I would have defended Vosh if only he hadn't fucking come after me so hard and fucked me over. He's talked about Nick Fuentes and said, I've defended Nick Fuentes. I gave him a career. I gave his phone number to Adam22 and numerous other podcasters, and he dare defy me, okay? Like that's what he said. That's what he fucking said. Ethan broke off from you because of your worldview. Yeah, it is true. That wasn't on my end, by the way, okay? There was no point in which I was like, yeah, fuck you, dude. I'm burning this bridge. I consistently offered him grace over and over again. How is this my doing at all? Yeah, I'm sorry that I think that making an ongoing genocide all about your own personal feelings is kind of fucking insane. And it does make me think a little bit less of you. If Big Joe gets exposed, I'm turning all right. No, he won't. He lives in a fucking lighthouse by himself with his fisherman's sweaters.
After this, Mr. Girl released a...
It's crazy how you were talking so much shit from your own audience defending Ethan, and he still has a piss fit over it. Yeah, for like an entire year. I just told my chat, calm the fuck down. Ethan is not your enemy. Pick better targets. Pick better targets. And he slowly but surely went after every single content creator in my orbit, okay, in my vicinity, content creators that are around me, not orbiters, okay, just peers of mine that are smaller content creators than myself. And then slowly but surely he turned the crosshairs on me and fucking lost his goddamn mind, dude. I mean, he went after fucking Caroline. It's crazy. And it's wild because like, he kept saying like, oh, you're not moderating your community. You're not moderating your community. And one of those, honest question, do you regret offering so much grace? Fuck no. I will always operate that way, okay? I'm telling you right now, expect that from me. It does not matter. This is what I have done consistently for every single person. This is something that a lot of people get mad at me over as well. A lot of people in my community are always like, oh, why are you so nice? Why are you so nice to content creators? It's because you know them. It's because they're rich. It's because they're your friends, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, that's just how I am, okay? You might not like it. You might not appreciate it, but I will always maintain hope that a person can be talked down the ledge, okay? Talked off of a ledge. That's it. It's a principle that I maintain. It is precisely the reason why I think I've been effective in changing people's minds in general in this community. And if I did not maintain that level of charitability and try to advocate for rehabilitation, I would not have so many wonderful people who've had their minds changed over these years. Okay? So I will extend that, especially to someone that I know personally. Okay? Always. There's obviously a limit to that charitability, and, that limit has far passed when you engage in a censorious campaign to try to get me fucking banned and attack all of these other content creators who are much smaller and to limited success. You actually end up silencing and suppressing pro-Palestinian voices. It's just like ridiculous. It's completely unacceptable. Anyway.
Report called the Destiny Report, where he outlined all of the ways that he believes Destiny is an abuser. Most people ignored this report because they didn't really care to listen to a potential abusive pedophile rapist give his opinions on why he thinks Destiny is abusive. The report was also over 100,000 words long, and it was terribly formatted, and honestly, no one had time to read all that shit. And while I personally think that Mr. Girl is a disgusting weirdo, I do think he made a couple decent points. Mr. Girl's main perspective is that he believes Destiny has a pattern of being abusive towards the women in his orbit. And now that we've seen evidence that Destiny has been sharing sex tapes of his orbiters and his ex-wife behind their back without their consent, I think this adds some credence to the idea that there might be a pattern of abuse happening here. In my opinion, Destiny kind of reminds me of the character of Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if Dennis was shorter and scrawnier and more annoying.
I didn't know I was being filmed. If you're in my room, you're always being filmed.
You are.
He does.
True.
He does.
It's just
Always
kind of creepy.
In case you haven't seen the show, the character Dennis is known for being a psychopath who's incredibly good at manipulating women.
Oh, look, I'm not narcissistic. That's good. I told you guys I was humble. We're a bit Machiavellian, or a bit not psychotic. Psychopath, a bit psychopathic. That's what I'm looking for.
The most famous clip of Dennis is where he explains that if you take a woman out on a boat with you, she won't say no to having sex with you because of the implication.
The whole purpose of buying the boat in the first place was to get the ladies nice and tipsy topside, so we can take them to a nice, comfortable place below deck, and they can't refuse because of the implication.
Okay. You had me going there for the first part. The second half, it kind of threw me.
Well, dude, think about it. She's out in the middle of nowhere with some dude she barely knows. She looks around her. What does she see? Nothing but open ocean. There's nowhere for me to run. What am I gonna do? Say no?
Okay. That seems really dark.
No, it's not dark. You're misunderstanding me, bro.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are. Because if the girl said no, then the answer obviously is no.
No.
But the thing is that she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
Well, in 2020, Destiny explains that he doesn't think it would be good for someone who has a large online platform to be sexting the women who he has as guests on his show because of the implication.
Let's say that I run like a really big podcast. I get 30,000 viewers. Let's say that I have a podcast. I got 30,000 viewers. Let's say that there's a girl that messages me. We talked a little bit. And she really...
This motherfucker has talked about so much that he literally has, I feel like, advocated and argued vociferously against the current thing that he's doing.
really wants to be on. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, you really want to come on a podcast, blah, blah, blah. I could probably start sexting her, and she'll probably give in and send me nudes and shit because she doesn't want to lose that opportunity. She might not actually want to. She might not be into it really at all. But if I start propositioning her, if she says no to me, she might worry, like, fuck, like, if I say no to this guy, like, I'm not going to make it on that podcast.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then are you wrong for asking in that case? Even though you saw it?
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
However, as we now know, Destiny has a long history of doing this exact thing to the women who are guests on his show.
I don't like the idea that we're normalizing, someone bringing in a bunch of small content creators that are women, fucking them, right? And then when that fallout inevitably happens, like, just cast them away. Like, it's a really weird dynamic. I work with women, and I'm happy with the fact that it's professional. And that needs to be a standard that we set for more people, because I hate the idea that I just show up on screen with a woman, and it's automatically sex. But can I really be mad at an audience for thinking that when I hang out with Steven, who literally fucks pretty much everybody he works with?
It is possible that, like, you are, like, a very, like, mature person, and even if they turn you down, you're still cool with them being on your podcast. Like, there are some people like that, but, like, not everybody, no one knows. That's the problem. Nobody can ever know that if you're actually that kind of person. That's why it's, like, a very hazy area where you can't really consent in that situation, because you don't really know.
So, on the one hand, he is saying that you shouldn't sext with women who are guests on your show because they can't fully consent, and on the other hand, he is sexting with most of the women who are guests on his show and sharing around their sex tapes without their consent. A woman named Lav came forward and said that she felt pressured to send Destiny feet pics in exchange for being a guest on his stream.
At least in my case, I was so desperate to get out of sex work, and I told him that, and he said, why don't you stream with me? This can open up an avenue where like you don't have to do what you hate to do. And I'm a political streamer. You can get into politics, like fully extending himself to me in a way that was like very friendly. And then it turned into something like, oh, right after that conversation, he was like, oh, by the way, I don't see any feet on your profile. Like immediately after.
Apparently, after she sent him feet pics, he said, "Welcome to the Orbiters Club," implying that sending her feet pics is what will give her the chance to be one of his orbiters. Now, Destiny claims that this was a completely ironic joke and it wasn't meant to be taken seriously whatsoever, but if Destiny himself has said that he shouldn't be sexting his orbiters because of the implication, and then he sexts his orbiters and then says, "Welcome to the Orbiter Club," I am struggling to see how this is a joke. And even if it was intended as a joke, like Destiny explained in this previous clip, you shouldn't be making jokes like this because the person on the receiving end might not understand that you're joking. It seems strange to me that Destiny had this.
Yeah, that person is also like not exactly the best. I will just say, I don't know if she's the most credible witness, considering that she also fucking randomly, due to Destiny's hatred over me, randomly decided to lie about me as well.
This incredibly nuanced view of consent a couple years ago,
and then openly admit in a Patreon post that she lied about me.
But then once he wanted to start sexting people, all of these rules that he set for himself went out the window.
Now, again, there are exceptions. Maybe you're friends with this person for 10 years or some shit, and you guys have like some, like, there could be like very niche. I don't want to say like every single time, but like as a blanket rule, if you even have to stop and think about this, you should just not do it. It's just a bad idea.
Later on, Lav accused Destiny of being the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube because she felt like Destiny had a pattern of manipulating the women in his orbit into doing sexual favors for him, and because she felt like it was emotionally abusive that every woman who came on Destiny's stream would inevitably be flooded with hate comments on his subreddit, which Destiny would refuse to take down. If you come onto Destiny's stream as a woman, you can be pretty safe to assume that you are going to get a bunch of hate comments on Destiny's subreddit. But according to Destiny's community, it's not because they hate women, it's just because these particular women all happen to be too stupid to debate their daddy Destiny. One time, Destiny's head moderator of his subreddit named Forethought sent one of his female orbiters the message, "Kelly Jean, stop pretending like you're hurt by sexism. Your greatest aspiration was being an esports victim. Holy fuck, no wonder you wish you got raped. You've got literally nothing going on to be doing this at 40. After seeing these messages, Destiny refused to remove Forethought as a moderator of his subreddit.
But the whole idea is that if there's no wrong way to treat Kelly Jean or whatever, if that's her mentality when it comes to her, who's to say that doesn't expand to other people?
But can we just why is it okay to do whatever you want
to Kelly Jean?
Oh yeah.
You have to ask Destiny that.
I mean, it's Kelly Jean.
That's not that.
Yeah, but if you have that mentality, Destiny, then yeah, he's gonna copy it, isn't he?
I wonder why women don't always feel comfortable on Destiny. At the time, Destiny and his community absolutely tore Lav to shreds because they didn't think that she had enough evidence to substantiate the claim that Destiny was the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube. One time when Lav was in the hospital, Destiny sent to his public chat, like, "I wish this person would just kill themselves already or fuck off from my shit forever." Destiny even one time shared with his public chat that there was a Kiwi Farms thread being made about Lav. In case you don't know, Kiwi Farms is a message board that is famous for doxing and harassing people they don't like. So by sending Destiny's community to her Kiwi Farms page, Destiny was essentially doxing her. To be clear, I'm not trying to 100% defend Lav here. I think that some of the negative comments about her debating were accurate. I don't think she's a particularly good debater. I also don't think that she necessarily had enough evidence to back up the claim that Destiny is the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube. Although these days I do think there is a lot more evidence pointing to that being the case. She also one time claimed that Hassan had slept.
I understand why you never want to talk about this dude. I feel so sad after hearing this shit. Yeah. I mean, they've been, he's been actively collaborating with the Kiwi Farms people, making my life and all of the other people that are friends of mine and their lives miserable too. So
These days, I do think there is a lot more evidence pointing to that being the case. She also one time claimed that Hassan had slept with a 17-year-old, which she didn't have any evidence to back up, and then Hassan ended up tearing her to shreds for that. And since then,
I didn't just tear her to shreds for that. Yeah, no, literally, she did. She did say that. That was the one time where Destiny was like, you shouldn't say that because you know that it is false. Okay? And then she turned around and openly admitted, I don't know where the Patreon post is. I'm sure it's someone probably still has it because I remember covering it on stream. Okay? She fucking turned around and literally admitted that she lied about it. What an insane fucking thing to lie about, dude. What a psychotic thing to lie about. That was the reason why many people, even in the Destiny community and many people like outside, even like the, what's the name of the guy, the potato fucking Keemstar orbiter, Donofrio. That guy, even like they all hate him. Nick Oreo, Mr. Oreo, Nick Oreo. I used to judge you in a bad way, but every day it seems like I was wrong and I'm sorry. It's all good. You know, pressured to say that she lied. Are you fucking insane? She just lied about it again last week. Same lie. Yeah, she just constantly goes back and forth on it. I don't know what's wrong with this person. I genuinely don't know. I think she's just like deeply mentally unwell. Yeah, this is it. I will not be streaming anymore, effective immediately. And it came out of fucking nowhere. Like it just came out of nowhere where she said that. We straight hundreds, whatever. Another thing that made me feel strange is when I begged Steven to do as little as I tell him community go easier on me. He deletes some of his. Yeah. Out of nowhere. The secret lastly, he'd brought up the secret I told him out of nowhere, so I had to play in the conversation. The secret I told him when he told me his secret, told me he'd ruin me, how bad I'd look. He worked in it. I'm not going to be blackmailed. Hassan Parker slept with my very young friend when he was not so young. It was legal, but he's denounced men publicly for doing much less. Ridiculous, okay? All of this is ridiculous. I don't care about it. And she's never going to come forward, but the fact exists nonetheless. An example of hypocrisy. Another person's hypocrisy is gold to a streamer. Shiny weapon. I was armed. Nothing will come of it. Ethically, it was a small infraction, and it won't be held over my head. She literally fucking openly admits that she just straight up lied. Why do these people despise you so much? This person, I don't even know why. She edited it while you were reading it, I remember, I think. It was so strange, dude. Just an absolute sociopath. Anyway, I hope, once again, I hope she gets the help that she needs. Okay. You left her on red on Instagram and that was your only infraction prior? Yeah. I found out. I didn't know who the fuck this person was, and then I found out that like I had just not responded to a DM of hers. I can't comprehend working in a field with this many psychos. I don't know how you do it. I think one of the key points to make here is that Destiny preys on people who are mentally unwell for sex. I mean, yeah, for sure.
That she has become a perf who says a bunch of racist and transphobic shit on Twitter. However, I do still think that the treatment she endured from Destiny's community was insane. Being a bad person does not disqualify you from being abused. And if a woman feels like she's being abused by you and your community, I don't think a good way to prove that you're actually not abusive is by telling her to kill herself and doxing her. Destiny's community wrote off Lav as mentally unstable and insane, and because both her and Mr. Girl were widely hated by most people on the internet, most people ignored their allegations that Destiny was abusive. Destiny has a long history of bringing mentally ill women onto his stream to the point where it's a meme in his community that all of the women on Destiny's stream have BPD. Destiny himself has said that he's most attracted to women who he considers mentally unstable.
This dude really has a penchant for going after mentally ill women, okay? Women with like severe depression, and a lot of them got like self-diagnosed BPD or some bullshit. Like, he just likes that. I don't know. To me, the fact that there's a pattern with a lot of these girls.
But the question is, does Destiny just happen to attract a bunch of mentally unstable women to his stream, or does he purposefully attract mentally unstable women because he knows they are more easy to abuse? Another mentally ill woman that Destiny had was a woman named Anna. Just like with Lav, Destiny also encouraged his community to go to Anna's Kiwi Farms thread, and he encouraged them to post in her thread. thread.
Oh, okay. Also, heads up. This is my only non-media blackout time, okay? This is my only non-media blackout time. I will immediately learn this, okay? Somebody on Kiwi Farms has made a thread of Anna. So if you are obsessed with Anna and you want to talk about her all the time, you, chatter, you can actually go to Kiwi Farms and you can go and post all you want, read all you want, go there, post about it, talk about it. People put a lot of effort into categorizing and archiving everything. There you go, okay?
And in the thread about Anna that Destiny encouraged his fans...
That's insane that he's using the doxing subreddit as his own personal fucking, like, as his own personal weapon, dude. And I assume they hate him on there, too. They just hate everybody. But it is crazy to just, like, encourage that shit with your, again, sycophantic cult fan base.
To go message, they doxed Anna. And it was later revealed that at this time, Destiny was secretly in an ongoing sexual relationship with Anna.
So you acknowledge that you've been sexting with her for a year?
Yeah, we've had on and off, sure.
In response to this, Anna texted Destiny, "You literally ruined my fucking life. You just doxed me on your stream. Fuck you. You put me in danger." And Destiny responded to this by saying, "You're doing it to yourself and you're going to keep doing it to yourself." This is one of the most insane things I have ever seen in my entire life. Choosing to dox a woman you are actively sexting with just because she pissed you off. I guess if you want to live life by Destiny's rules, if your wife or girlfriend or friends with benefits ever pisses you off, why not just dox her to hundreds of thousands of people? I also want to be clear that I'm not defending Anna. Anna also has a long history of harassing Steven, which is obviously not good, but Destiny also treated Anna like garbage.
Oh my god.
He not only doxed her, but he also threatened to leak her nudes when she threatened to leak sext messages between the two of them to prove that Destiny had been lying about her.
So do you think that leaking sexting and leaking nudes is proportional, or do you think it's a proportional response in the way that you're reacting to them?
I think it's about proportional, yeah. Thanks.
You don't think that she has more to lose in that scenario? Like, you think that people were going...
Why does everyone suck in this video? I think you guys now understand why I stay away from, like, this community and have consistently stayed away from this community actively and have tried to shelter you from this shit, even though there are still a bunch of weird little drama perverts in here. You know who you are, many of you long-term community members that do actively go in there and, like, pick all this shit apart because you love watching this fucking insanity. But this is the reason why I have tried to cordon off this part of the internet, because it is insane. It is genuinely an endless well of depravity. And that's the only reason why I went back on my initial, I will never cover this, I will never openly talk about this mentality. The only reason why I got into that was because of the Israel stuff. It's a truly depraved, morally repugnant shit. It's also interesting because their number one thing that they have held over my head for years is the fact that I bought a house for myself and my family and have been able to actively bring in a large number of random people who also go along with that is actually inconsistent with being socialist. Like, that's what's so crazy about it. It's like, this dude is just, like, doing fucking sex crimes galore over here. And unironically, he has poisoned the well so fucking hard in his community that his fan base literally straight up think that I am a vicious villain. And depending on who he's collaborating with, I've seen people say that Nick Fuentes is a significantly better figure and less dangerous than someone like myself. Like, these are legitimately things that they actually believe, this community of insane cultists. You're very materialistic though, bro. Designer goods isn't very critiquing capitalism. Okay, I love capitalism. What of it? Someone's fucking purchases, which are totally within my means, especially, is not a fucking critique of capitalism, okay? I'm not a goddamn saint. And if you think that this is the biggest fucking argument you have against someone like myself that you think undermines my entire worldview, you are a pathetically unserious person. You understand that? That's like, this is not a real point of contention, chatter. I don't know how you will ever comprehend that. I don't think you'll ever be able to comprehend that, as a matter of fact. All right? Jesus Christ. Bro, just don't wear Yoji and Lemaire. Like, stop having drip, bro. I will never stop having drip. Okay? I will always keep having drip. Another example of this is how the Pyre software was ostracized for a video game while D's barely covered in subreddits for his sex crimes. That's what I mean. Like, consistently and routinely engage in this sort of behavior. And obviously, like, in a lot of circumstances, like, people are just, you know, genuinely afraid of dealing with it or saying anything about it. Because they just don't want to get fucking endlessly harassed. And it's wild that on the internet, you can be geared into getting mad about even perceived hypocrisy when no such hypocrisy exists, more so than actual fucking sex crimes and shit. It's crazy. Like, exactly. The chatter did it, literally did it. Chatter's watching a video about someone committing sex crimes, but you're the one to critique because you buy designer, okay? And it's never like an actual person who is a socialist or even remotely cares about it. It is almost always people who are like, I despise socialists. They should be Pinochet style dealt with by being tossed out of a helicopter. Also, socialist, by the way. Designer drip, by the way. You know what I mean? It's fucking deranged. I'm not your enemy. I think it's important to reiterate that his community has a segment called Rape Review where they train themselves to defend actual rapes. They know, they just don't care at best, or they're just creepy at worst. Yeah. Or maybe he was just like gearing them up to fucking defend them down the line, you know?
I mean, you could have more to lose, but I just don't see the huge difference between like sex and nudes. Like, you're leaking like personal, like sexual shit that somebody sent you and like trusted you with. Like, in my opinion, this is like one of the biggest forms of like weird, like backstabbing shit. It's like one of the worst things personally is like leaking like private sexual shit. Like
So Anna had stalked and harassed Destiny, and Destiny had lied about Anna and threatened to leak her nudes and sent his fans to a website that doxed her. This is a situation where they were both clearly in the wrong, but I think this situation sent a message to Destiny's previous sexual partners that if you get onto Destiny's bad side, he will not be afraid to threaten to leak your nudes and send his fans to a website that doxes you. Looking back at Destiny's streams from over the years, I found at least 20 different women who had allegedly had some sort of sexual relationship with Destiny at some point, and I found at least 15 different previous female orbiters who now all hate Destiny's guts, and Destiny now labels them as crazy. The fact that Destiny has had sex with a bunch of his orbiters and now a bunch of them hate him doesn't necessarily prove abuse, but what I do know is that Destiny is not living by the standard he expects other people to live by. Again, he said himself that you should not sext people who are guests on your platform because they might not be able to fully consent because of the implication.
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
And at the very least, he has totally and utterly failed at living up to this standard of conduct that he expects other people to live by. I think we would need more evidence to concretely prove that Destiny's stream really is this system of abuse. But all I know is that there are at least 4 alleged victims and a whole host of other women who absolutely hate Destiny's guts, so I would recommend that women should stay as far away from Destiny's community as possible.
If you know that the people you're going to be involved with are only short-term partners, and you constantly see the after effect of most of your hookups and your interactions leaving a trail of broken hearts and disappointed people, that's a moral failing.
All right, let's recap all of Destiny's treatment towards women. Destiny sexually assaulted a woman. Destiny has a long history of sharing women's nudes and sex tapes without their consent. Destiny allegedly recorded a woman having sex with him without her consent. And in his messages to his Discord kitten, Rose is Coming, he sent her audio recordings of men that he had slept with from Grindr and said, I went out and sucked the guy off a few nights ago and recorded the audio. It's really scuffed in my pocket, LOL. Did I ever send it?
Bro, this person is still on it. Look. Look, dude, Ethan Klein fans, I'm serious. Please, you're making him look worse by being like this, okay? Longtime fan, please just respond to the claims and hear out your friend. Watch the video. Why are you not watching the video? Will you watch with him? Are you not a millionaire? F the rich. I'm an RN. Hassan, as a fan, can you explain your political stances? Are you left-leaning? Are you going to interview Monkey D. Luffy again? Yeah, maybe you should interview ISIS, then become one. There's a really good video. Maybe you should watch. I think you should have the link, but you might have lost it. You got timed out and you came back from the timeout. I followed you with my Amazon Prime probably back in 2021, months before Leftovers. I'm sure your mods can double check that. I need you to just let your OG followers know that you are not the man Ethan Klein thinks you are. You are someone I look up to. Why did you burn Teddy Fresh? Donate. Sorry, not burn. Wait, do you pay prostitutes? That's what I'm getting from video. No sub on the account whatsoever. Followed in November 16, 2023. I know I unbanned that person. Yeah, I donated my own merchandise. I donated Maya's merchandise. I donated all of my other friends, Carl Jacobs' merchandise. I don't hate any of these people. Also, it's crazy. You're like, I look up to you. And then you simultaneously say, I should interview ISIS and then join ISIS. Why are you looking up to me? If you think I should, like, if you think I have the capacity to join ISIS, what is going on, man? Have some fucking self-respect.
If he was recording the audio from his pocket, it sure doesn't sound like that audio was recorded consensually, does it? Maybe he did ask if he could record him, but then he put the phone back in his pocket where the audio would sound terrible for some reason, but I highly, highly, highly doubt that. And if he was recording men from Grindr without their knowledge, it's also very easy to believe that he was recording Cherry without her knowledge. He has a history of calling 15-year-olds attractive and sharing pictures of them in bikinis. He has a long history of getting very mad at women when they post about their sexual assaults on social media. He has allegedly abused at least one of his female orbiters and was psychologically abusive towards his ex-wife. And he also admitted to choking out another one of his exes multiple times. However, he claims that this was done in self-defense.
Because you better fucking believe I had to fucking choke her out a few fucking times.
Finally, Destiny has a history of doxing and threatening to leak the nudes of women that get on his bad side. I find this incredibly ironic because in his Keffels manifesto, he says that progressives believe there's no such thing as bad tactics, only bad targets.
And what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets?
Well, if you ask me, doxing women and threatening to leak their nudes is the definition of bad tactics that you should not be doing even if you think that woman is a valid target. If you add up all of these allegations, I think it's time to consider that maybe Destiny is just not a good fucking person. Maybe he's your typical male feminist and all of the liberal bullshit that he spews on his platform is just him trying to get into women's pants. Before it had been publicly exposed that Destiny had shared pictures. However, he claims that this was done in self-defense.
Because you better fucking believe I had to fucking choke her out a few fucking times.
Finally, Destiny has a history of doxing and threatening to leak the nudes of women that get on his bad side. I find this incredibly ironic because in his Keffels manifesto, he says that progressives believe there's no such thing as bad tactics, only bad targets.
And what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets?
Well, if you ask me, doxing women and threatening to leak their nudes is the definition of bad tactics that you should not be doing even if you think that woman is a valid target. If you add up all of these allegations, I think it's time to consider that maybe Destiny is just not a good fucking person. Maybe he's your typical male feminist and all of the liberal bullshit that he spews on his platform is just him trying to get into women's pants. Before it had been publicly exposed that Destiny had shared Pixie's sex tapes without her consent, in private he acknowledged that he had severely, at the very least psychologically, damaged her. But once Pixie came out with her allegations publicly and announced that she was planning to sue Destiny, he went back to his old defensive ways and took accountability for nothing. He posted to his subreddit, "Legal arc beginning in mysterious ways, such wow," which is the most millennial cringe way possible to respond to allegations of sex crimes. In this post, he never takes direct accountability for sharing Pixie's sex tapes with Rose Is Coming without her consent, and instead he focuses on how he's a victim too because his nudes were also leaked by the hacker that apparently hacked Rose Is Coming. Obviously, Destiny is also a victim in this situation, but I struggle to find empathy for him because he refuses to take accountability for sharing the sex tapes non-consensually in the first place, which led to this entire mess. He also talks about how Pixie was asking him for a large amount of money because she was trying to teach him a lesson, and I don't necessarily see anything wrong with her wanting to teach Destiny a lesson. Maybe he needs to be taught a lesson. Pixie made the point that
it's very clear that for a very long time, Destiny has never actually had even a crumb of accountability, which is why over the course of the past 15 years, he has just like repeatedly done this kind of stuff. And as his platform has grown, he's had more opportunity to increase the amount of victims in the process.
And unless there are some real consequences to Destiny, probably just do it again in the future, which I agree with. Destiny later sent to his public chat, Pixie and the people behind her just want money. Yet, this is a blatant lie because she made it abundantly clear to Steven that she would be willing to donate the money he gave her to charity. So just like usual, Destiny is attempting to smear his victim in order to silence her, even though in my opinion, Pixie has done absolutely nothing wrong. And I think this shows incredible moral character on Pixie's part that she's even willing to donate this money to charity because I don't think she has any obligation to do this. But even with Pixie being basically the quote-unquote perfect victim, Destiny still decides to smear her. My favorite sentence from this post is when Destiny says, "I have been trying to move on from covering drama content as it has had an increasingly negative impact on those in my life." Bitch, you...
Let me guess, he probably fucking, I assume if he's back to making content, I suspect he had a fantastic time going over his own community's work on the Ethan Klein nuke. I suspect that he didn't have a problem covering that kind of drama.
You loved covering drama content.
There is not a single instance where Destiny hasn't covered drama. When he talks about issues, when he talks about political issues, it's really interesting. His first approach almost always, for months, I remember, even after he said like he's pro-genocide, most of his coverage revolved around talking about me and Ethan, constantly trying to drive a wedge, okay? Constantly. Most of it was just straight up, Ryan mentioned you. What is this? Jesus Christ, this dude really thinks he has any place to watch Hassan Nuke and criticize him right now with all the shit he's in? Then I'm gonna highly recommend Hassan watches my nuke about Destiny when he gets back to the US. Anyone in my audience that's friends with Hassan, I would appreciate if you can try to get my video to him. Fair is fair. I mean, I already did. Yeah, go like and subscribe to the channel.
When it was other people's heads on the chopping block, but now you want to stop covering drama once your head is on the chopping block. After this, Destiny sent some messages to his chat that were even more defensive. I have never done anything maliciously, as any of the fucking insane allegations say. That's fucking retarded. My only crime was being too much of a gooner in 2023 and earlier, 100% sure.
Just too much of a gooner.
And I can't say anything specifically because everyone wants to come at me in court now, I guess. When he says that he didn't do anything maliciously, I think he means that he didn't intend for Pixie's nudes to ever get leaked to the public. But I would argue that non-consensually sending her sex tapes in the first place was malicious in and of itself. And again, I think Destiny would agree with me that sharing the nudes in and of itself is malicious because he said that when Bob7 allegedly did the same thing, this should be life-destroying.
But I do believe that these are relatively life-destroying revelations.
And you are not fucking stupid, Destiny. You know that if you're sending around sex tapes to random 19-year-old e-girls, eventually something is going to get leaked.
You know, actually, one of the craziest parts about this whole story is the fact that Destiny trusted a 19-year-old Discord lady, okay? Means Rose is coming with sex tapes of other people in his life. Nigga. If that's not compromised judgment, I don't know what the fuck is, okay?
Also, your only crime is being too much of a gooner? Destiny's just a little bit of a goofy gooner. It's not like he committed any serious sex crimes. He's just a little gooner goblin. Look at my gooner goblin over there in the corner gooning. As usual, every single thing that Destiny says is an attempt to downplay, and refuse to take any fucking accountability. Then Destiny sent this to his chat. Bro, if I need to go on the sex offender list, I'm taking like 20 other streamers with me, okay? Lol W. Again, trying to deflect from taking responsibility by saying that a bunch of other streamers have done the same shit. If other streamers have done the same shit, then yeah, maybe they should be on the sex offender registry. Recently, another clip of Destiny resurfaced where he talked about how he knew that a bunch of different streamers had committed sex crimes against children, but he just didn't care to expose any of them.
Like, everybody's gotten pics and more from underage.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, dude. Like, that's just bad behavior. Why the fuck would you openly admit that you know that there are sex offenders in your orbit and you just are holding off on revealing this. That's crazy.
Chicks, depending on what you've heard in different communities. No. Let me finish. In the esports community, okay, everybody has been involved in that shit, okay? And there have been people that have gone way farther than that.
Do you know people in the esports community?
I'm not. But I'm not going down that road. There's tons of rumors.
No. Wait a minute. If you're saying you have knowledge of a crime and you're not willing to bring it forward,
well, people talk about it, but like I don't have the means to go and acquire the evidence to like name names and name victims and
break
like find
Dorito Gate right now, Destiny. Come on, let's hear it.
This is not my job. Listen, okay, I'm gonna be frank. I'm not gonna suicide my fucking career to go on some fucking vendetta against a bunch of fucking video game guys, okay? This is not my life.
But now that his head is on the chopping block, I guess maybe he'll finally expose these abusers that he's been covering for years. And the last thing that Destiny has posted at the time of this recording was an absolutely hilarious meme on Twitter where he said, "Korean barbecue is a little overrated, but I've always loved the short rib at this place." And it's a picture of a Korean restaurant called Goon Barbecue. Again, implying that he's just too much of a gooner because gooner sounds a lot better than sex criminal. He is choosing to be his same old self, making jokes instead of taking accountability. This motherfucker has the absolute gall to release an entire manifesto about how Keffels needs to take accountability for her actions, but then once he's in shit, he takes absolutely no fucking accountability for his actions. Like, is this dude an actual fucking baby? Are you a child? In what fucking world is this the right way to respond to the fact that you violated one of your friends and, in your own words, severely psychologically damaged her? Never in a million years could I imagine being a soulless, heartless piece of shit like this who treats my best friends like actual human garbage. And for you to get up on your high horse and act like you're the moral police of the universe who has any place to judge other people while acting like this is fucking insane.
You know, with this whole situation, I don't think Steven shared this because he thought it was okay to share. I personally believe, this was my theory, that he shared this because he just didn't care and he didn't think that the other person would ever find out. And that to me is almost worse. You don't care about the people you slept with and who shared that intimate moment with you and recorded it. And it shows to me that if you are going to be able to avoid the consequences of it, you'll say and do things behind closed doors that are just unbecoming. And if...
Okay, I don't know if this is Ava or Preach, but I will admit something. Remember when I said earlier that, like, I think less of people sometimes when they consistently collaborate with Destiny? Okay, it's Ava. Okay, I'm shocked. And I'm willing to admit that I definitely had... Oh, Destiny's former close friend Ava. It's literally on the screen. I'm such an idiot. I will admit that Ava is seemingly a much more thoughtful person than I previously pegged him as. Okay? And I think part of the reason why I felt the way that I did was because of the initial alignment that they had, both Abba and Preach, with Destiny, and also their political perspectives. We have our political disagreements, I think, especially as it pertains to trans issues, but it seems like he is definitely a much more thoughtful person than I thought he was initially.
I'm your friend and I see you do that to your other people that you've slept with and you call friends, then I can only imagine that even for me, I might not be safe and I can't trust you. And what
Abba was the one that debated D over the Drake stuff, and after D said that weird shit about him talking to children about relationships, he came in and distanced himself bit by bit. Oh.
I see is another more failing where it's like when no one's watching, you're not doing the right thing. You can massage it however you want. It's a shitty thing to share a sex tape, but it's not the worst thing.
What about your terrorist propaganda streams not being searchable on Google? What do you mean? If I'm doing terrorism propaganda, don't you think I'm doing it right now? Are you implying that my Twitch stream is not searchable on Google? How did you find it? Or do you, what's the claim here? That I have control over Google and I'm secretly hiding my own content? This is some real Q Hassan shit. Brilliant minds, dude.
I'm sorry. That's
what about your Houthi stream? What about my Houthi stream? You mean this one? Hold on. Let's see. Tim Houthi. Interviewing Yemeni Timothy Chalamet. You mean this stream? I'm trying to interview the... Look how easy it was to find it. Do I have to explain to you how to search something properly? Please call me immediately. Please call me. It's urgent. Oh, but he wasn't a Houthi. No, if you watch the interview, you'll find out that he was not. Irub, please call me. It's urgent.
Okay. Injustice. Call it a spade. It's garbage behavior. Don't mush it over because you like your favorite streamer. Don't mush it over because you think he's important politically. It's garbage.
Right before uploading this video, another woman named Stasia just came out with allegations that Destiny shared explicit material of her without her consent, and a woman named Denims just came out with an allegation that Destiny had recorded her without her knowledge. This recording was non-sexual, but apparently it's illegal to record people without their knowledge in that state. Destiny chose to ignore Stasia's allegations for some reason, but in response to Denim's allegations, he sent messages to his public chat threatening to leak the recordings of her in an attempt to silence her, showing that he is still engaging in the exact same behavior as always. So now we have 4 different women who Destiny allegedly shared nudes of without their consent, 1 woman that Destiny sexually assaulted, 1 woman sending Destiny feed pics, 1 woman who Destiny...
You're being stalked by L3L's Reddit, just so you know, that Kate individuals from there. I think ultimately the foot soldiers are not as vicious as the DDG community is. So it's okay. It's usually people like Kate who don't necessarily fully comprehend what they're advocating for, you know? Like they can't even like put together a coherent political perspective. They don't really know what they're angry about. They're just kind of trying to be helpful to what they perceive as Ethan's cause. No, they're definitely losing their grip on reality, but they're ultimately toothless. Yeah.
allegedly recorded sexually without her knowledge, 2 men on Grindr who Destiny allegedly recorded sexually without their knowledge, and 1 woman who was recorded non-sexually without her knowledge, for a grand total of 10 different victims that we know of so far. And this is of course not including the 15-year-old girl that Destiny shared bikini pictures of, or the 8-year-old boy whose penis Destiny stared at. When will Destiny's community, DGG, wake the fuck up and realize that Destiny is just not a good person? I know that I said that I wouldn't focus on my personal beef with Destiny in this video, but I wanted to just point out one thing. I found it really funny that in his Vosh manifesto, he cries about how people online have attacked him for identifying as non-binary in the past.
Many have attacked me in the past for identifying as a non-binary. I no longer identify this way, even though I've considered different sexual or gender identities and discussed it at length at various points in my stream.
Destiny and his community have been harassing me for years about identifying as non-binary. He said that he doesn't think my identity is real, and he tweeted that I'm faking being trans for clout, and I've had a bunch of his fans come and make fun of me.
Yeah, famously, you get so much fucking clout when you come out as trans. Like, famously. That's like the #1 way to get clout. Everybody's always doing it. What an insane statement, dude. This is just like 90s level the homophobia.
Me anytime that I post about being non-binary, which made me feel like I had to go back into the closet at one point. But when people attack Destiny for being non-binary,
many have attacked me in the past.
It's crazy because Destiny's community also actively will portray me as a transphobe, which is really funny. And, you know, I guess some people get duped by that too, but not really as much.
For identifying as a non-binary.
It really hurts his feelings. This is just another example of Destiny being a hypocritical little bitch who cries when people are mean to him and then turns around and does that exact same shit to other people. If you want to be an asshole to non-binary people, be an asshole to non-binary people. But then don't be a weaselly little bitch who turns around and cries when people are an asshole to you about being non-binary. Destiny is the perfect example of rules for thee, but not for me. He says Bob 7 should have his life destroyed for sharing nudes without consent.
I'm not running around screen sharing people's nudes.
When he shares nudes without consent. He criticizes Keffals for being a bully while he's the biggest fucking bully on the internet. He cries about how people on the internet have doxed him, and then he turns around and doxes a woman who he is secretly in an active sexual...
Also, unearthed the... me. and basically did it before Fox News got a hold of it too, you know, before I could even move into this house that I got for myself and my family. Just a fucking truly repulsive, horrible individual who constantly gets in his own fucking way and then routinely tries to talk his way out of it by telling his audience that it's actually everybody else that's coming after him and that it's never his fault. You know, it's never his fault. Yeah.
Relationship with. He says it's not good to sext women who are on large streams.
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
And then he turns around and sexts every single fucking woman on his large stream. He says it's super weird to sext 19-year-olds because they're basically children.
They're a little kid.
And then he fucking said.
By the way, this like very obvious inconsistency or hypocrisy, or I guess backtracking, whatever you want to fucking call it, exists for virtually every issue that he's talked about. And his fan base does not ever think about this as some weird inconsistency.
Texts a 19-year-old. He says we need to hold Keffels responsible for her actions, and then he takes absolutely no fucking responsibility for his actions. My worst crime was being too much of a gooner. And rewatch this entire video. Do you agree with Destiny that his worst crime is just being too much of a gooner? Destiny, you are not too much of a gooner. You are a sex criminal. To this day, Destiny is still refusing to fully take accountability for his actions, as he has done through every single fucking step of his career. According to Destiny, he really hates weasels. He even has a weasel emote that people spam in his chat whenever someone is trying to weasel their way out of an argument or is refusing to take accountability for their actions. Well, Destiny, I think you should get this emote tattooed on your fucking forehead. You are a weak, pathetic little weasel, and I hope that everyone has finally opened their eyes to how much of a wriggling little weasel you always have been. I hope that after this, you take a long look in the mirror and you realize that you actually have a lot more in common with Keffels than you would ever care to admit to yourself. You have both lied to and scammed your audience. You are both massive bullies. You both aren't afraid to use harmful tactics to get what you want. And most of all, you both have a pathological need to avoid ever taking accountability. So from now on, I shall be referring to you as Keffelsdeny. How's that for a nuke, buddy? Anything else? Really quick before the video ends, I've linked the fundraiser for Pixie to sue Destiny down below. If you would consider donating to that, I would appreciate it so much.
Once again, it quite literally doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. You could do an 8-hour nuke similar to this about all of the different ways in which Destiny has and his community has actively harassed someone like myself or many other people. As a matter of fact, you could do virtually 8-hour pieces on on the extreme harassment that is borderline criminal on virtually every smaller streamer that he's engaged with. Okay, it is crazy. His community straight up harassed journalists who have interviewed. I know they go after everybody. It's fucking insane. They have unlimited smoke. Okay, bro went from getting nuked by Ethan to talking about Tiny. I know, brother. You do realize that was a little bit of a dud. Too much on hypocrisy and not enough on how manipulative he is. The hypocrisy is just a consequence of him adjusting his discourse to massage a narrative. Oh, for sure. I do think that a lot of people only care about hypocrisy, though. Yeah, they've literally stalked Twitch staff. They've been actively stalking and doxing Twitch staff, dude. Like, it is so insane. Yeah, nuked by Ethan means he used a microwave. Anyway.
If this lawsuit is successful, maybe this is finally an opportunity for Destiny to be held accountable for his actions. I've also linked accounts for Pixie, Cherry, Lav, and Melina down below and recommend you give them a follow. I think in situations like these, victims can end up being kind of just used as ammo for different people to fling shit.
How has he not been banned by Twitch? He has been for years. That's the reason why he's been attacking Twitch. Part of the reason why he's attacking Twitch is because of his own personal vendetta against Twitch, because he's still perma-banned for doing shit like this. And also on top of that, there's a million different reasons even that aren't criminal that are valid reasons to, you know, keep someone like a ban. I just told you guys that this motherfucker has been literally doxing and harassing Twitch staff, dude. The fuck? Why you only watch content, Nuke, about people you don't like? I don't know. Think it through. Think. First of all, this isn't even content nuke. It's titled as content nuke because that's what fucking people say online. This is just a expose on the criminal behavior of a person who has basically created havoc in the space that I've been in the streaming space that I've been in. And I've also personally fucking targeted me for years and years. Anyway, 11 hours already? We're not getting an IRL today, are we? No, there won't be. Why is no one taking him to court? No, someone has contacted the authorities. The video itself talked about it too. Did you see Ethan hemorrhaging subs? Yes, I did. He lost, I think he lost 30,000 subs in the process. It makes sense. I mean, his channel was nascent. He wasn't using it. Last time he used it was for Keemstar, which is interesting because now he's using it. And now he's aligned with Keemstar. How is no one talking about this? This is so unknown. Part of the reason why is because a lot of content creators, I think, see it as like open territory, especially if they want to beef up their apolitical bona fides to come after someone like myself and be like, yeah, fuck Hassan, right? A lot of large content creators don't necessarily shy away from engaging in the fuck Hassan train. XQC is a fantastic example of this. Like, he has for years and years been super close to Sexpestiny and has actively platformed him, actively come after me. Sexpestiny and his community, Diddy G, have used XQC as a vehicle to launch these attacks, right? Having said that, people don't necessarily want to talk about Destiny in general, partially because a lot of content creators are genuinely worried about the harassment cult that he has created and shy away from any sort of criticism. Same goes for many other large content creators, okay? A lot of other large content creators with very active communities that are, that are not above using their communities to attack other content creators, naysayers and whatnot, okay? XQC has nothing against you. He's open to talk to you any day. Yeah, dude, I know. I know. Like, Asmongold will probably watch the Ethan nuke, upload it, React will get millions of fucking views. XQC will do the same if he hasn't already done so. These guys don't have a problem coming after someone who is on the left. They do have a problem, however, coming after someone. He already did? Yeah. They do, however, have a problem coming after people on, coming after people like Destiny in general, because his community doesn't shy away from, aggressively pursuing people that Destiny considers to be bad. This entire video basically spells it out. He may react and disagree with E. I mean, we'll see. I think the parts that they will disagree with will most likely be the idea that like Twitch is incredibly anti-Semitic or some shit. Anyway, they will also flood channels to poison the well about you if they think they'll gain traction. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. Good video overall. Shouts out to Brian Beard for putting themselves out there like this. I am done for the day. Okay.
Bro. You're evil. You're fucking evil. you can't. I don't think you can say that. Let's continue.
Yo, this is probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. Genuinely, probably. And I'm sure everyone in the world would tell me not to go live right now. I'm sure everyone would. I'm like, don't even want to look at my phone. I'm sure everybody would. But I wanted to go live because this is what pain looks like. This is what it looks like. Okay? This is what it looks like. Fuck the fucking internet. Fuck the constant exploitation and objectification of women. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Fuck Atrioc for showing it to thousands of people. Fuck the people DMing me pictures of myself from that website. Fuck you all. This is what it looks like. This is what the pain looks like. Okay? Why? Why?
What is going on with you?
Sorry, don't mind me.
If you are able to look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually.
You're a monster, dude. You guys are crazy.
I don't get why they played that sound. Zach played the sound because Ethan told him to play the sound. Now, I do think that there should be a level of expectation. Like, you just don't do that. You know what I mean? You just don't do that, even if he told you to. But like, Ethan telling Zach to like, play the song, right? Play the song. I have no idea what they're laughing about.
Archangel making noise.
Flashbang.
This is another stream. This I watched another streamer, Sean. Thank you. How long have I been live? I've been live for 7 hours. No wonder I'm so tired.
Requesting UAV.
I think Zach said it really in the chat too. Yeah. Ethan signs the paycheck. Yeah, I understand that Ethan signs the paycheck, and I understand it's like I get why Zach did it. I do think that there needs to be a judgment call at a certain point of like, yeah, no, I'm not. We're not. You know what I mean? But Ethan does sign the paychecks, so yeah.
Hang on. Let me
Why did you do that? Zach, what the fuck, bro?
And like, it's insane to just be like, to act like you didn't ask for this to be played. You know what I mean? To act like you didn't ask for this to happen. You didn't ask for it. You literally asked for it. No, you didn't even ask for it. No, you demanded it. You demanded this happen. Right? Yeah, and Ethan gets to have his laugh, his like, why would you make me laugh at this thing? While Zach takes the heat. Not even the biggest fan of Zach, but like, why? That's insane. That's insane. He's your employee. And you throw this on him as your employee, as somebody whose livelihood is dependent on making you happy. So even just separate from like how insane this was originally, and it is insane, it is crazy, but maybe Ethan doesn't remember this happening. Maybe because, I'll leave it there. For some reason, Ethan doesn't understand, right? Maybe he doesn't remember this going on. He doesn't remember how much of an asshole he is and why nobody likes him. You feel me? Like, come on. Like, come on, bro.
Evil. Fucking evil.
Thing is, if even the wife who had a point of hurt, then he wouldn't understand. He would understand. I feel like things don't matter unless it affects him personally.
Dude, what the fuck, bro?
What is going on here?
I'm just speechless, dude.
Get it out of your system, because I know it's just...
Yikes. That was insane.
Yeah.
They're not benefiting. They're not selling it. They're not platforming it
Do you think
themselves.
this is everything as LSF drama frog and no zero sympathy unless people criticizing him?
If you are able to look at that, you are the problem.
Eliminate the enemy.
You see women as an object. You should not be okay doing that. And it should not be a part
The
of my
apology in here.
job to have to pay money to get this stuff taken down. It should not be part of my job to be harassed, to see pictures of me nude spread around. It should not be.
What do you even gain from this? What's the Mujan? What do you mean? What does that even mean?
Something that is found on the internet, it shouldn't be. That shouldn't be a part of my job. And the fact that it is exhausting. And the person that made that website, I'm going to fucking sue.
Save for Ethan, maybe Elon and Zach. I'll throw Zach a bone. I think Zach is also uncomfortable. Right? I don't think anybody else in the room is like laughing. Genuinely. But I don't think they think this is funny. I think Sam is the only person who's like outwardly mad at this. Like he's like who's pissed off about this, right? But I think everybody else is uncomfortable. Ethan is laughing. I think Zach is laughing at Ethan laughing. Zach is misogynistic. I'm not saying Zach isn't misogynistic, but I still think that because if Chad is right, like he actually texted like really a question mark. You know what I mean? Like this is 2 years ago. Like I think that he landed comfortable. Maybe not, right? I think Zach understands that like
Now hold it.
this was uncalled for. You know what I mean? I do. He's also getting heat from like the entire crew as well. Even though he's not directly his. Let's say it's his fault because I think he still has some blame, right? But like Ethan told him to play the sound. I think that's also important to recognize as well. You know.
I promise you, with every part of my soul, I'm going to fucking.
And somebody said, did she ever end up actually suing the guy who made the website? I don't know. I don't have the answer. Right. Also, I totally forgot about YouTube chat. Hello, YouTube chat. I promise you, you are super sick and awesome and amazing. You're great. Keep on keeping on.
That's all I have to say.
Incoming storm.
I know I shouldn't have gone live,
I support her.
but I couldn't do it.
And I know it sucks, but the legal aspect, as horrible as it is how stuff changes.
Site down, and the other creators
that sucks. That like people.
How is there nothing against?
You had to fund the whole lawsuit, the women affected, and the website as part of an apology.
It's just new.
You know, it makes me think of the revenge porn. It was totally legal when this website was made. Again, I'm going back to this documentary on Netflix.
Everything I see, I feel like everything I see in this podcast is making these employees uncomfortable. That's also everything I see. To be fair, selected clips. I don't watch the podcast anymore.
Called the most hated person on the internet or something.
Yeah, definitive reason as well.
And he had this website called Is Anyone Up? And it was explicitly for the purpose of revenge.
I pointed out that like he played this song in his like call out of like Ludwig as well, basically weaponizing like what Ludwig's girlfriend went through, like what Cutie went through. I'm not saying like Ludwig's girlfriend and be like try to like minimize Cutie, but I'm talking about her relation to Ludwig, right? What Cutie Cinderella went through at the time. In this
Jack Frost nipping at your
he doesn't care. Like he doesn't care. 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 He doesn't care.
Whoever gets Cutie's boyfriend, indeed. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Sharing revenge porn and viewing it. And it wasn't illegal at the time until a bunch of people went on a fucking sued the shit out of him. And then they were able to change the laws and shut down his website.
I don't know the case with this specific incident, but I mean, usually when like a website posts something illegal, the domain gets.
My take on the cast is never going to change. And I know people who follow me, right? People who follow me are going to be like, okay, you're hitting this again or whatever. My take on the cast is never going to change. I don't think the cast is above criticism, right? I think you can criticize the cast and you should criticize the cast, right? But most of my criticism is going to be tailored specifically towards the person who signs the paychecks. Ethan Klein, his name is on the podcast. He is the H3. He is. He is. He decides the direction the podcast takes. He decides what videos are played on the stream. He decides what he talks about. He decides the direction the podcast goes. He does. No matter how staunchly opposed, not saying they are, but no matter how staunchly opposed the crew is, they're not the namesake, right? It's not they're just following orders, chat. It's understanding the fact that Ethan signs their paychecks. Ethan is their boss. He is. No matter what your take is, you can't discount the fact that Ethan is their boss. He signs their paychecks. This is the truth, right? And I'm not saying you have to defend them, but I'm saying contextualizing, right? Contextualizing the fact that their job is dependent on this, right? Their job is dependent on this. That was just following orders means, though. You're not understanding, right? You're not understanding. The point that I'm making is not that you can't criticize them, right? The point that just following orders is dropping or trying to, you know, the Nuremberg defense to be like, you know, they're still culpable, whatever. I'm saying, I mean, there was some laws. Okay, whatever. Get it off. I'm not saying you can't criticize the crew, you fucking moron. I'm saying, understanding when you're criticizing the crew, understand where that comes from. Understand that the crew is not the person chiefly responsible for the content of the podcast. I'm not saying Dan is blameless. I'm not saying that Olivia is blameless. I'm not saying that Love is blameless. I'm not saying that these people are blameless, right?
Exit
I'm not saying that Zach is blameless.
for 5 months.
I'm saying that the person who is chiefly responsible for the way the podcast is, right, and the people that are harmed because of the podcast is because of Ethan Klein. I agree with that. I just really disappointed in AB and Lena, and you can be. You can be disappointed, right? But when I talk about why I'm so specifically focused on, like, Ethan, right, and why it seems like I'm giving the crew a pass or whatever, is because Ethan signs the paychecks. Ethan's crashing out. This is all guided by Ethan's personal vendettas. It's his fault, chiefly his fault, right? That Ethan steers the ship. He's the captain. He is. And I'm not even talking about Yellow, bro. That's a different conversation. Right? He makes the calls. He does. He does make the calls. And I understand that when your livelihood is on the line, I'm sure Ethan pays very well. Right? LA is very expensive. I know, I live here. When your livelihood is on the line, it can be difficult to jump ship.
And perhaps the entire planet, which is the rising tide of fascist mobilization, but instead the much scarier thing, which is communism, because that's significant.
And I can understand that, right? And contextualize that to understanding or, you know, filtering my criticism through that. I think they pay very well. Yeah. Is following orders a criminal war crimes? Is that a difference? Otherwise, are you going to say that just following orders in every instance of coercion? I mean, that can apply to like literally, you know, like jobs. You feel me? About like, you know, criticizing just like a freaking Amazon employee for the fact that Amazon is bad, I guess. You know what I mean? There's coercion in every aspect of capitalism. There is inherent coercion under capitalism. There's a inherent power dynamic under capitalism. If you can't understand that, like, I don't know what to tell you, right? Maybe this is not the community for you, right? But I understand the inherent coercion that exists with the threat of poverty looming over you, and why people could be guided by the decisions, or why people's decisions can be guided by that fact. You know what I mean? Now again, if the crew is out here and they do something I disagree with, I'll disagree with it, right? Like Zach playing the sound. I can understand is what I just did actually, before you even started freaking yapping in the chat, right? Understanding that Ethan telling Zach to play the sound is Ethan using his power over the crew as the boss.
We have our orders.
Zach's still playing the sound regardless. I criticized that. I said, yes, Zach should not have played the sound, even though you even told him to. It's the exact demonstration of what my position is. The crew is not blameless, but I will focus my criticism chiefly on the person who guides the content.
Stay on task.
Chiefly on the person who signs the checks. So yes, you can criticize the crew, right? I think you should criticize the crew.
Assaulting target.
You feel me? I just popped in. I think the funniest thing about Ethan's reaction is that he doesn't realize the history between HRQ and Lud. He just demands them accept his apology for his wrong. Feeling that even worse. True. Yeah. We'll get back to that in a second. You're right. I was just is the role we're going to have. The way you avoid this dynamic is if you were your own boss, which the majority of people aren't. Yeah. The last crew member who quit and criticized Ethan was Hassan. And look at what happened. The rest crew want that smoke, or they just the established critique job. I mean, I think the pay has something to do with it. You know what I mean? Again, Ethan is a millionaire. The podcast is a very lucrative endeavor. I'm sure they're getting paid very well. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're getting paid very well. And I'm sure it's difficult to make the decision to stand by like your morals and leave a guaranteed paycheck at your dream job and strike out on your own. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's very difficult. It's very easy from our position to look at them and be like, quit. You know what I mean? Quit your job right now. Quit your job right now, or you hate Palestinians. It's very easy from our position to say that, right? But from that position, if you've never been in that position, if you've never, right, gotten a position that like at a place that you don't like, it's not necessarily your favorite place. I mean, I'd be doing the best work or whatever, right? But it's what you enjoy doing, what you like to do, and what you've historically have done with no problem before. Is not an easy decision to leave. It's not. You feel me? Here, I'll give you my story, right? When I graduated college, decided not to pursue long-term employment in the industry that I was in, and decided to start streaming, right? Or starting to continue to stream. And stream as my like main gig, right? Luckily, I live with my parents, and I put no upfront cost in doing so at the time, right? I have some savings, and so I don't have to necessarily worry about my livelihood. But imagine people who like, you know, move to Los Angeles to like make it as an actor, and they finally get a gig. Not their favorite gig, not their best gig, but it's a gig, right? And they work in there for like a year, it's chill. 2 years, it's chill. 3 years, things start to go awry. Very easy to look at that person and just be like, quit, get another job, right? Quit your job, get another job. It's very easy to do that from an outside perspective when you're not in that situation. Where you have to go, you know, and like put your livelihood at risk. There you are. In order to, you know, stand by your morals. It's a decision that we all have to make under capitalism, right? A lot of us are doing stuff that we don't necessarily like doing. Working for corporations and bosses that we don't necessarily like working for, right? And yeah, obviously if we can be in a situation where we can make good money and we can, you know, stand by our morals, that's the best case scenario, right? But understanding that it is a difficult choice to make, it's not an easy choice to make. It's important to understand. And I'm not saying you're blameless while you're in that position, but I'm saying understanding that is important. It is important. I think it's a little crazy another other jobs by now though. It's been months. You think someone else would have quit? You don't. Again, I don't think you guys understand just about how much money they're being paid. You know what I mean? I don't know how much money they're being paid, but I promise you, it's probably a good amount of money that they're not gonna get for sitting a few days a week behind a camera at a podcast set and riffing with friends. You know what I mean? Probably not that much money. They're not gonna have that amount of money with that low of a responsibility threshold. You know what I mean? I got in trouble for running a kafia or work conference. 2 options: quit my job or bend the knee and do the good work and for something that made me question their values. Yeah. Well, only hold out for some of the crew is that they come from wealthy families. I don't think it necessarily matters personally. That's my job after calling out racism at work, currently under investigation, and I don't have any thoughts on. Some of these folks come from wealthy families and have enough supporters to find a soft landing in my POV, not trying to vilify them. There's some dialectic there. I guess they each get like 110,000 to 145,000 a year.
Pretty nice.
If I know that if even full KKK, the crew wouldn't fuck with them, there's a blindness in America, even Arab Americans, to how what they say normalizes the murders of our people. I mean, you're not wrong, right? And again, I'm not saying that they're not, you know, to be criticized. I'm not saying that they're blameless, right? But I'm saying that that's important to contextualize why they're staying in the first place. You know what I mean? Because again, it's very easy. It's very easy to talk from a third party's perspective. It is. It is. It's very easy. Taking stem. It is.
They were already dead.
When you understand, just overestimate just how many steady media careers actually exist, it's not unreasonable to the crew to assume that if they quit, they may have to leave the industry entirely or just gamble on striking out independently after they have accrued significant resentment from